What's going on YouTube? My name is Simon Snipe and welcome to the channel. In this video, we will go through the strategies I used to clear challenge 5-4 and 5-8. I'll quickly run through the units we use for the stages and the type of gears you want on them too to make it work. So without further ado, let's get into it. In challenge 5.4, we are up against Yuri and her gang. Now, E1 strategy is not the only one that you can use to actually beat the stage. By all means, you can still use the Re-Arm Esterosa and other units such as Castrocellin, which is a really high damage output even against the counter damage resistance to actually kill the stage. But in this particular video, I'm just going to use the E1 strategy because I find it really interesting and we've never actually been able to do much endgame content using E1 anyway. So this is the team that I'll be running with. The type of gears you want on Evolve 1 is obviously the highest amount of CDR you can get and the most amount of anti-ground damage you can get. The best set you can have on him is 72% CDR Mace set. And then what you want on your main tanks is as much ground damage as possible. It doesn't have to be 2 sets of HP. As long as you have 44.8 or around 40% anti-ground damage resistance, if you pair that even with a broken set or one set of HP and one set of defense, you will still do just fine. You will need one tank set for Horizon, which is a mech unit, and one tank set for Admin Sword Fighter, which is a soldier unit. Glitch is there basically only as a fodder so that at the very beginning you can give the Evolve 1 3 stacks so that he doesn't die too easily against the incoming damage. Your top 2 DPS is going to be Ifrit and Castrocellin. Now the best in slot for Castrocellin is always going to be crit damage, attack speed, and anti-ground damage. Now if you build her with a little bit of CDR, it's fine. You don't want too much of that because Castrocellin's main DPS comes from her basic attack and her special attack. As for Ifrit, you can slap on any Shadow Hall gear on him. Priority substat you want is anti-ground damage, and then if you can pair that with anti-ranger, amazing. If not, I'm just using anti-defender, anti-ground, so it does the job. Now the whole strategy of this fight is to keep E1 alive long enough with your front lines and allowing your back line DPS, which is going to be Ifrit and Castrocellin, to actually kill Yuri at the front. Now why you have to worry about Yuri is that because Yuri actually has a special skill that actually removes buffs. As long as the buff is removable, it will be removed, namely immortality. That's why Veronica and Re-Arm Esterosa isn't what I would recommend for this particular stage as your main tanks. And the special skill is actually triggered by the amount of enemies that dies on the field. So it might be triggered very quickly if you're killing the mobs. The second threat in this particular fight is actually Choi Ji-hoon. Now Choi Ji-hoon is a sniper unit that actually sits quite far back. Unless you have something to deal damage to backlines, he is never gonna be touched, and then he even does more damage to defenders as well. Every few enhanced attacks is gonna hit the backline, so Castrocellin, and if let's say Ifrit is sitting safely at the back, it's just gonna die for no reason and you don't really know why. Now you know why. It's because of Choi Ji-hoon. So the reason why I came up with the E1 strategy is because E1 himself, or herself, sorry, E1 herself, the ultimate actually hits pretty far away, and it does quite a decent chunk of damage. So E1 is like my solution towards Choi Ji-hoon because in 2 ultimate casts, Choi Ji-hoon dies. So you're gonna rely on Ifrit and Cellin to be your main DPS to kill the boss, which is Yuri, and then you're gonna rely on E1 to actually deal with the enemy ads and Choi Ji-hoon. If you're able to keep E1 alive until Choi Ji-hoon dies, there's a very high chance that you'll be able to keep Ifrit and Castrocellin alive to do enough DPS to kill Yuri before 1 minute and 30 seconds. In this video, which I will be sharing with you, you can barely see I touched that 1 minute 30 second line. If you have better gears, obviously you do better than me. Okay, so let me just briefly explain how to actually do a 5-8. So let me show you what I'm using. Esterosa is using HP defense with, of course, the key thing here is your anti-ground rest should be as high as possible. If you have inhibitor hands, better. Okay, you want Replacer Queen to be using anti-striker gears. Anti-striker, anti-ground as much as possible, because in order for her to kill Yoma as fast as possible, it's a special skill and her normal attacks, not her ultimate attack. Okay, so not having too much CDR is actually a good thing in disguise. Kestrel, the obvious standard ones, crit damage as much as possible, as much anti-ground damage as possible, as much attack speed as possible. For Karen Wong, anything works, to be honest. Attack speed works, Blaze works. You really just have to throw it on her because so that she doesn't go in naked. Veronica can go full damage just because she doesn't tank much even if you do tanky gear anyway, so might as well you capitalize on her doing even more damage when she is the lesser HP she has. So during her immortal phase, it's like her top DPS. Right, Asmin, the standards tanky soldier gears, same thing. The key here is the 44.8 anti-ground res. And that's it. Now, other than the particular sequence right here, you need to also be aware of one thing, that when during the match itself, you want to turn off your ultimate skill, because when Yoma is around, you don't want to ship skill 1 or skill 2, because either one of those, if you're using Enterprise like me, skill 1 is going to knock her down once it explodes, when it expires, right? Skill 2 obviously also will knock her down, so you just heal her and then she just jump forward. Now, having Esterosa as your main tank, you give her as little skill haste as you can, so give her maybe Hummingbird Gordius HP defense, it also works, right? You do not want to use your Replacer Queen's ultimate when Yoma is around. When she is not, go ham. Karen Wong is just my insurance DPS in case Queen and Castro cannot kill Yoma in time before Esterosa expires, so that's it. And then Veronica and Asmin is literally just my insurance in case one of my immortal tanks are dead and then there's nothing at the front. So Yoma actually does respawn during the fight at certain intervals. I did not record where, but it does happen. So when it does happen, make sure to not spam your ultimate skills as much as possible. Hopefully none of your skills actually knock her up so that she doesn't jump towards the back and you can kill her really quickly because most of your units are there. And that's it for this video. So I stream on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 8 PM to 10 PM usually at GMT +8. So if you'd like to come join me and have fun, please do drop by on those days. So I hope you can clear the challenges now after watching the video. Hopefully that it does provide you with a little bit of help. I guess until the next video, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!